Yo, Thought Warriors. What is up? Higher Learning is on. It is I, Van Lathan.
And it's me, Rachel Lindsay.
A little bit of news for you guys, just so you know. Higher Learning now has, or not now, but coming up this Thursday, we will be launching Higher Learning social media handles on both the old Twitter sphere and the Instagram.
They're live now. You can.
Oh, excuse me. Well,
get it together.
Jackson.
I don't want people to feel like they're not live yet.
Exactly. Thank you, Jackson.
Oh, now.
Thank
Follow
you, Jackson.
now.
Okay.
You can do it again if you want.
Jackson, do you want, what do you want? What else? Is there anything else you need to do while I'm trying to do the podcast? Thank you, Jacksonian. Yes, well, they're live now on Twitter at higher_learning, on Instagram at higher learning, all one word. If you want to be an active part of the Thought Warrior community, what we're going to start doing is the mailbag, stop DMing them to us now. DM them to, or ask them via hashtag mailbag on Twitter, or DMing them to the social at Higher Learning on Instagram. So we want to grow those socials up there right now. Both of those are great. Rach!
Van, you're wearing a red hat with white letter writing on it. Can I see the front of it?
It says Los Angeles.
The front.
The front of the hat? Why? Oh, yeah.
If you were walking around with that in public.
Right. No, it's
Okay.
Mario Saints.
I lost you for a second.
Oh my God.
No, but honestly, if you were walking around like that from a distance, people would be alarmed. They'd be alarmed.
From a distance, you look like a Trump supporter, and we want nothing to do with you. From a distance, I love that song. How was your weekend?
My weekend was short because I had to work the Grammys on Sunday. But other than that, it was good. Friday, took a day to myself. Saturday, my girl was in town from Texas. She's got a new show. Y'all got to check it out. America's Most Wanted. It's got a reboot. Starts actually tonight. Premieres. Competes with The Bachelor.
Okay. America's Most Wanted. Two of America's Most Wanted.
Hey.
Just real quick, who are the rappers that were on two of America's Most Wanted? Quick.
Pac.
Okay. Yeah. Who else?
Snoop.
All right. Just making sure.
Y'all see how he does me? Like,
Picture
I
perfect.
might not be as well versed in.
Who's your precision? I'll just with you with this double OP. Got all my homies in the bomb act, nigga.
What would you have, Van? What would you have done if I had been like Snoop and Biggie?
Trudy.
What would you have done?
Put Trudy in. Or actually, I can't put Trudy in. I can't. You know what? I can't put Trudy in. I can't do that. I would have left. Because this is our podcast. I can't give somebody, but I would have left. I'd have been like Jackson, who he obviously wants to take the podcast over. So Jackson, just take the podcast over and continue to do the podcast. So there was a little bit of Bachelor news that we have to hit on. Just a little bit of Bachelor. A little bit of Bachelor
we're almost
news.
done. We're almost done.
We're almost done with the Bachelor. Chris Harrison not on the Bachelorette. Going to be replaced.
Why are we referring to it this way?
Because I got a red hat on. So, you know.
Okay.
Actually, wait, but that would make, if I got the red hat on, that would mean I would double down on the bees.
It's that you put the bees on the seat. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah,
come on, get it right.
Hey, man, shout out to all my homies around LA putting in work, doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry I messed up with the politics and the wah. So, yes, he...
It's so whack that you just did that. I was like, why does he keep saying
Chris Harrison off The Bachelorette, and now they replace him with Tayshia and who else?
Caitlyn.
Tayshia and Caitlyn.
Right.
Boy, does Tayshia photograph well. Tayshia and Caitlyn, we're not going to spend too much time on it. We've already spent oodles of time on it. What do you think?
Yes. Listen, you want my opinion on it? I don't really have anything to say. I'm opinioned out when it comes to this, except for my opinions on After the Final Rose, which we will reserve till the next podcast this week. Sure. Listen, everybody keeps saying, oh my gosh, Chris Harrison, I know this because they're attacking me on social. Yeah. You got Chris Harrison fired. He's canceled, cancel culture. I need people to read the statement. I need people to understand what's happening. He has not been fired. He said he was going to step aside. It's a new season that has already started filming. Okay? Chris Harrison has stepped aside to educate himself. The show supports him on that. So he is not on this current season. He can't get educated in the way that he needs to in 1 week. So Caitlin and Tayshia are stepping in. They are not hosts. They aren't co-hosting. They're stepping in to facilitate this season and give advice and host dates. And yeah, and good for them.
I actually disagree that he can't do the education and be on the show at the same time. I don't think that's true.
Okay, well, there's a whole group of people that agree with you on that. It's not. Of course, he could do both. Yeah. But then what? But if there's consequences for your actions, then hopping into the next season isn't stepping aside. And I think the show is trying, and the franchise is trying to put out a message that he's getting. These are repercussions to his actions.
Look. I actually think this is letting him off the hook too easy. You're giving him all this free time to go do his African American studies, his niggerology.
From his race educator.
Or whatever he has to do. You ever heard of correspondence courses? Do you know what those are?
Oh, of course.
So back in the day, kids that went to school and they would go to summer school, some kids didn't want to go to summer school. Mm-hmm. They didn't want to give their summer up. Mm-hmm. So what they did was they took the correspondence course. We didn't have online, right? So you send off for stuff.
Yeah.
They send it back. You get a packet. You study it, and then you go take a test.
You did this?
I didn't, but I knew people who did.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I knew people who did the correspondence courses. And always be like, we'd be playing or something like that, and they'd be like, I got to go home. I got school at 6 p.m. I'd be like, what the hell you mean you got school at 6 p.m.? Because you're doing a correspondence course as well as going to McKinley.
Right.
Think about what kind of life Chris Harrison would have had if during the day he had to do the Bachelorette, right? And then during the night, he had to learn about Kwanzaa. Like, think about the interesting tidbits that he could drop throughout the Bachelorette. Think about how
to the contestants that
it would be so crazy.
Stop. I'm not even entertaining this. Kwanzaa.
It would be Kwanzaa or whatever else. It would be so crazy, right? It would be so crazy to just watch him integrate everything he's learning that day in real time with what's going on The Bachelor, right?
He could do that later.
He could, but it's not going to be the same. All right, because now it would be fresh on his mind. He'd be talking to the girls. He'd be like, listen, we have some snacks out here for you ladies. We have some champagne and we have some peanuts. Interestingly enough.
No, not peanuts.
The peanut was really the singular driving force of the genius of a man named George Washington Carver, who came up with various different ways to utilize this amazing legume known as a peanut. Did you guys know that? And did you also know that George Washington Carver was a black man? Interesting moment for the show. Doesn't even have to be that way. It could be
Can you
another.
imagine? I just want you to sit back and digest that for a second.
I'm fucking
Can
with
you
that.
imagine if there were breaks where he would pause and give the audience Black history?
I love that. That's the idea. See, this is the stuff that they're not thinking of, which is why I should be a part of this.
Actually, it's why you should not.
This is the stuff that they're not thinking of. Like, think about it. He's sitting there and the guy runs in and to save, like, think about it. When Dale saved Claire, when Dale saved Chip, right?
Claire, yeah, from Yosef.
From Yosef, right? Dale runs in and he goes, you came in like a swashbuckler. Speaking of swashbuckling, novels like The Count of Monte Cristo and Three Musketeers, featuring characters such as the Count and D'Artagnan, were written by Alexander Dumas. Did you know that Alexander Dumas was a black man? Boom! And like, people get a little bit of you're not giving the idea any oxygen, is what you're not doing. You're not in any way thinking. See, that's the problem.
You know what would be so much greater? That's not the problem. Rather than giving us a history lesson or a sentence or two of something that you learned of a historical black figure, I'd rather like to hear him say something along the lines of listening to somebody's conversation and be like, actually, you shouldn't say that. That's a microaggression. Let me give you another example of that. You see what I'm saying?
I don't want. It's too woke. Wait,
That's what I want. Oh, Did you say woke?
It's too
Did you
woke.
say woke?
Yeah, I'm against the woke mob, Rachel.
Chris.
Like it's
Chris.
too like
Chris.
the woke mob. Who are
Chris.
you? Well, hey, it's all love, guys. It's all love. Everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, this will be a headline. This will be in a subreddit.
Like it's all love, guys. I promise. I promise. I know they're not gonna do the Black History Minute on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. It'd actually be so hysterical if they did, though. It's so hysterical.
It would be funny. It would be funny.
It'd be very funny.
All right, that's enough. That's enough time on The Bachelor.
That's enough. So
would you like to predict who's going to win?
Matt's Bachelor?
Who's going to win?
Rachel Kirkendale.
That's your prediction? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the worst kept secret. Right? I think that's pretty much the worst kept secret.
Are they together or not?
Right now, I would have to say they're probably not together.
Okay.
I would say no.
On Thursday, will you rate Emmanuel Acha?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
You want me to weenie roast him, or should I?
He might not. He might not make the weenie roast. I mean, he might have a 0, a 1.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not. He doesn't have a high weenie percentage. Like not that I've seen. You know what I mean?
That's what changes people.
It does.
Might have rated a 5 or 6.
I
was on The Bachelorette.
I have to go back and look. I have to go back and look.
Absolutely not. That's not.
You know what
happening.
I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back and look, and then give you a weekly weenie rating.
You got. You know what? You got
season.
things to do. And speaking of things to do,
Mm-hmm.
let's take the moment to recognize one of our own.
Okay.
Yes, man, we got some exciting news this morning. Were you up? Let me tell you. Let me ask you questions like I ask people on Extra.
Let's do it.
Van, for those of you who are late to the party and who don't know, our own Van Lathan has been nominated for an Academy Award.
Yay!
Van,
thank you.
Who is the first person who told you that you were nominated for an Oscar?
It was Kalika.
5 in the morning?
Yep, she pounced. Tears, crying. She pounced like a little mouse. She goes, Van, it happened. You nominated for an Academy Award. She pounced. And I literally went, oh, that's dope. And then I turned over and went back to sleep.
No.
I'll be honest with you. I couldn't be more happy and humble and honored, but I was so tired because it took me so long to get to sleep last night. I was so anxious. Man. I was so anxious last night.
Okay, but now you can let that go.
Oh, now I can let it go. So
you can let it go. So how does it feel? Honestly, I'll probably never know what it is to be nominated.
Okay, so let's stay right there. Okay? Let's stay right there. Because I have a story about that.
Okay.
All right. So you don't know that.
Right? You're right. I don't know that.
Okay. And so let's stay right there.
Okay.
So I would watch the Academy Awards as a kid, right? Every show, every time.
Wow.
Every year. My love for film and my love for storytelling is something that's deeply rooted within me. It transformed my brain to different places. You know, a lot of times, home life was chaotic. Growing up in Baton Rouge, a lot of times it was chaotic. But then I would watch movies with guys with lightsabers, moving things around with their mind, or movies about amazing looking, talented, artistic Black people in Harlem or whatever they might exist. Stories about all over the place, and I would get lost in them. And it's really how the narrative of my life was woven through film, through people telling their stories and sharing their experiences. That's why I'm so interested in hearing people's stories and where they're from and what their parents are and all that stuff like that. I just love stories. So every year I would watch the Academy Awards, every single year. And when I moved to Los Angeles, one of the first places I lived was on the corner of Franklin and La Brea, which is right around the corner from the Dolby Theater. And when you live there for about a month and a half around the time of the Academy Awards, it's just chaos. Months, a couple of weeks before, a month before, they're setting up, and then a week after, they're breaking it down. And then you're right there, and you see it. It happens to people. They get nominated for things. It's not some weird, ethereal thing that only exists out there in some land that you can't access, right? It happens. It's real for people, and they're doing the whole thing about it. So I'm in TMZ one day, and I'm at TMZ one day, and I'm having there's some debate happening in the office, and the debate is about it's about somebody's Academy Award. I guess it's who should have won, what should have happened, where things should have gone, how it should have went, right? Something like that. And it's either me or Harvey or me or somebody else who are going back and forth over this. And somebody in the office goes, well, we can stop talking about that because that's something that's never, ever going to happen to any of us. We'll never have that problem. And right away, I thought to myself, and I said out loud, you don't know that. It was a wake up moment for my adult life. I was like, you don't know what I can't do or what's not going to happen for me. You don't tell me what my ceiling is.
You're
because
right.
I don't even know that, right? Like you don't know that. And people are looking around and they're wondering why I'm taking this so personally is because, and I wasn't taking, it was an emotional reaction because it was something that I wouldn't say that I've dreamt about my entire life, but something that I've wanted to access. No, I did. Fuck it. No, I dreamt about my entire life. My entire life, I dreamt about it. My whole life, I dreamt about it.
Yeah.
My whole life, I wanted to believe that it could happen to me. And just being around somebody that was saying, that's never going to happen to anybody.
Mhm.
I'm like, no, you don't know that. There's no way you can know that. And I'm not about to live a life where I walk around counting the things that aren't going to happen for me. Now, it might have never happened, and it might never happen again, although it will. But I just wonder, and if there's anything that people, and I know I'm droning on, but if there's anything that people can take from what it is that is happening to myself, Trayvon Free, Jesse Williams, Martin Desmond Rowe, Nick May, Diddy, Jesse Williams, Lawrence Bender, Zaria, Joey Badass, Andrew Howard, Mickey, everybody that's involved, is that all we did was take the idea, go get what we need to get, and then execute it.
Mm.
We just made it happen.
Just about to say that.
And everybody just worked. And everybody just believed. But it started with the belief that we could make something dope.
Mm-hmm.
So, long story short, and I don't want to get super emotional, but man, don't let nobody take your belief. Serious. I don't care who they are. Don't let nobody take your belief.
I so wish you would get emotional right now because I can see that you're almost there. No, I see it because I feel like I could almost feel I truly feel like I was nominated. I do. I felt that when I saw, I woke up. That was the first text that I saw this morning is that you were nominated. And that's what Van just did right there in church. You call that a testimony. That's exactly what that was. And honestly, Van, somebody who was just listening to this needed to hear that. Somebody was told that they couldn't do it, or maybe they told themselves, like I just said. I mean, I'm not, trying to get Oscar, but I'm just saying.
I get it, yeah.
Somebody, too often we tell ourselves we can't do that, that's not going to happen, or we let somebody dictate that for us, tell us how our lives are going to turn out. So somebody needed to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. Please tell people, if you haven't already, where they can catch Two Distant Strangers.
Well, guess what? They can't catch it because we don't have any distribution yet. But
Right.
the reality is that there are distributors that are lining up, and you'll be able to see the movie very soon. But if you really want to see it, if you super badly want to see it, we're going to have some big screenings for people that can come watch the movie. Oh, I do want to say one thing real quick. Friday night, there was a Thought Warriors clubhouse room. Okay?
I didn't catch it.
They invited me to the clubhouse room But I was so nervous the entire weekend that all I really did was kind of sleep and fret. So I was supposed to go into the clubhouse room. I did not get on Clubhouse Friday night and go into the clubhouse room. I'm telling everybody that went there that maybe expected to see me, I am sorry, and I will be there. And I will come to the next 5. But I couldn't appreciate more. Rachel, I know that you feel the same way. The fact that there are conversations being had about the podcast on these various apps.
I love it.
So I definitely will show up into the higher learning clubhouse chat room.
Can I also just say that I now fully understand your disappointment in me when I haven't seen movies. I understand why you take it personal because of how it is so intertwined in your life. And I'm like, no, never see it, never cared to. Don't want to.
I would sit around and, I had such a weird childhood. I would read encyclopedias and watch movies. And then one day, and maybe because I always noticed, but one day I remember, I can remember this like yesterday. It was a girl and she walked by in some pink shorts. They were like bike shorts. And I was like, yo, her ass is moving. And boom, that was it. My life changed. After that,
sorry, how did we get there?
I'm just saying, that was the end of wonderment. Because when puberty hits, your brain is like, pew pew.
So you put the encyclopedia down. Is what
put the encyclopedia down. Follow that thing. Follow that thing. Shoot up. Pew pew. You know what I mean? And my game at that age was so whack too.
Why
I was so
would it
whack.
Be on point? Who had great game at 12?
This is crazy. I'd see girls out there doing their things. I come out there like, hey, y'all want to play some kickball? You know what I'm saying? That was the game. It was trying to get them involved in a sport.
Kickball probably would have got me.
Kickball? You would have succumbed to the kickball game?
I would have succumbed to the kickball game.
Man, play kickball. You know what I'm saying? Play kickball. All right. We have a very special guest right now. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, Lil Mo.
Yes.
R&B queen. Some of the anthems that you've heard or Put It On Me with Ja Rule. Sock It To Me. Hot Boys. Like all of these joints. You know what I mean? Well, I don't think she sings on Sock It To Me, but I think she's in the video. Oh, yeah, she does sing on Sock It To Me.
I think she does.
But Lil Mo, who's been through some ups and downs in her career, but is so brave and forthright in discussing everything that she's been through and everything that she's going to do. We're going to have her in a second on Higher Learning when we take a quick break. Be right back. Yo, we have royalty in the house. We actually do. Somebody that's been doing their thing in music, man, for a long, long time. Got a brand new album coming out. You guys all know the voice. You know her from so many different things. You know what? So many of these records take me back to a time. I got actually a story to a Lil Mo record. I don't know if I could tell it on the podcast, but
that you have to now. Now that you just said that, you have to tell it.
Because I want to know.
No, I don't want to implicate nobody. Maybe by the end of it, if we really vibe it. But first of all, before we even get to that, give it up for Lil Mo who's joining us today on Higher Learning. How are you doing today, sister?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. Oh, I hear the Baltimore.
We're great.
You know the vibes.
I hear the Baltimore. Hey, I'm doing good.
It.
Yeah, how about you? Like the Baltimore. Yeah, I hear that Baltimore. So you got brand new stuff coming out. But you are like a household name to all of us because of the work that you've done throughout the course of your career, the time that you've been on the television screens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, tell us about like the beginning of your career, because if somebody was to ask the question, because you were huge, gigantic, like everywhere, big records on your own, on everybody else's records.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to that point where it seemed like so quickly to get that hot? What was that like?
Honestly, to this day, I don't know how I got to that point, because like I tell people, it started out literally as a joke. I didn't have a demo tape. I didn't have a manager. I didn't have anybody connected in the industry besides, honestly, Missy Elliott hearing some of my, I guess, demo CDs that I used to send up to a lecturer, and the rest is history. I can accredit my name being Lil Mo to my uncle being John P. Key. But even with that, for me
John
to take
P.
off the way
Key?
I did, yeah, that's my uncle. That's how I started singing at the age of 15, touring, in high school, braiding hair during the week, and then going on tour from Friday to Sunday, then going back to school. And my dad would take me from Fayetteville to Charlotte, and we would tour the world literally within 3 days. And we would drive because my uncle does not get on the airplane. So it was just like, it was destined to happen, because I think I spoke it into existence when I was like 4 years old, saying I would be a singer, a superstar. But never in my life did I think that at the age of 19 in hair school that I would be calling Missy Elliott from a payphone in Green Acres Mall, Valley Stream. And she said, yo, you want to go on the road? And I'm like, yes. Well, when can you get here? Now. So it's just like I moved around, and like destiny happened that day from I remember getting my nails done and using a payphone. I had a beeper. So the rest is history. I used to literally watch Martin and be like, oh, I could do radio. Oh, he's crazy. So I just talked my way into the game, and I just been finessing ever since.
Wait, what do you mean when you say it was a joke?
Because I literally, the way I got in touch with a lecturer was I was calling up there and like, yo, owe my people some checks. So they was like, who is this person calling acting like we owe somebody some money? So I was like, yeah, we sent some demo tapes up there and y'all owe us a check.
And then,
Rick Brown was Merlin Bob's assistant. So I used to be calling up there barking. So when they met me in real life, they was like, this little person was the one that was like calling up, like, I'm coming up there. Like, I really thought I was on some Suge Knight things back then. And so when they met me, they was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Like, I'm 4'11". I was probably like 112 pounds with wet clothes on. So I popped shit on my way into the game. And then after that, when I realized me and Missy was the same height, I was like, yes, it's up from here on out.
Right. So from there, you do records with Missy. You do records with like everybody. Name some of the people. Like who was hot? Like name some of the people. Just re-jog people's memories that you did records with at that point.
Missy, Jay-Z, Whitney Houston, Tupac. He was already going on to glory, but I was doing records with him, and I was just like, oh wow, that's crazy, because I really wanted to get in the industry to meet Tupac. So I started getting tattoos and everything because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the female Tupac. But my uncle was the one. I wanted to be a rapper, but my uncle was the one that told me to sing, because he was like, you'll last longer. And I'm so glad that I took his advice, because he was like, I don't think you realize that your voice will like take you a long way. Like you can rap, but it's something about singing and touching the people with your voice that will, honestly, I've been here for 2 decades, so he was right.
So I guess my question is, you're smoking hot and everything is popping off.
Yeah.
So when people say, yo, man, what happened to Lil Mo? Like, what's the answer to that question? What do you think the answer to that question is? Not that you ever went anywhere, sister, but I'm just saying. Oh, you went okay. So like,
I went somewhere.
What's the answer to the question? Like, what happened to Lil Mo?
I would say I happened to Lil Mo because, like I said, I finessed myself in, but your gift will make room for itself. But the finesse will only get you so far. And I got overwhelmed. And I would say I let the industry get the best of me. So I took a much needed hiatus. So then I started doing reality TV, and then stuff started happening. I'm like, wait a minute, this wasn't part of the plan. Then I started doing radio, and then I got fired. And I was like, wait, this wasn't part of the plan. So I would get in the room and I would work it, but I didn't know how to keep myself there, because I realized that you have to have a game plan for the next level. So one thing about me is just like, I was one of the people that be like, I'm gonna fight everybody in this, bitch. Y'all not about to play with me. But I didn't realize I was taking business personal when I should have taken my business and my personal more personal. I was taking everything else personal. I was joining myself into things that I ain't had no business joining into. It ain't had nothing to do with me. But that's my personality. Like, I always was the underdog, so I fought for other underdogs, and I always wanted to see other people win. But I talked my way out of a lot of situations because I was like, nah, we ain't on that type time. Like, I think I literally became Tupac.
Is there one situation in particular that you wish you would have done differently?
There's a couple. Honestly, my personal situations I would have done differently because those started making the blogs more than I would say my music. Once I started seeing that the bullshit was making the headlines more than the business, that's when I was just like, wait a minute, no, we got to change this narrative. So you would hear more about my marriage or my exes and things that I was going through more than I would have to log on to see what the fuck was going on in my life. I was like, oh, this nigga cheating? I was like, I didn't even know.
Lil Mo, one of the things that you've been, I appreciate is your honesty. You're so honest. You've been honest about like things that you've gone through, whether it's in the industry, whether it's personally. And one of the things you've talked about is mental health and addiction. And you've talked about being able to overcome that. I'm just curious if you could speak a little bit towards that, especially with the year that we've had and how you've been able to maintain that and continue to fight through it.
You know what? I had a great conversation with a great friend of mine this morning who I haven't spoke to in almost 3 years, Cat Williams. Wow. And when he said, call me, I was like, OG said, call. Like I was on the highway so excited because I was just like, I have my team and then I have my people on the side that I just be like, yo, let me make sure I'm doing the right thing. And for him to tell me that you're doing the right thing because he saw me when I was going through the addiction and he never wanted to see me that way. That's why when certain things were happening with him, he was just like, you just make sure that you take care of them babies and you stay protected. And I wasn't protected out here for the simple fact that I was just running around in the trenches. Like literally, I used to be in the streets of North Philly. Now, mind you, I've lived everywhere in the world. Atlanta, North Carolina, daggone New York, and Baltimore. So I've seen both sides of the coin. So the addiction, I would say that when I was going through it, I didn't see it. But I went back to my social media because my manager was just like, you thought you was lit, didn't you? And I was looking back and I was just like, well, I don't know why I was doing this right here. And he was like, you was just posting any and everything and you look crazy. Why didn't nobody tell you that you look basically crazy? And I was like, I don't know. Right. I was like, nobody could tell me anything, I guess, at that point. So like opioids, them things are a hell of a drug because nowadays you don't know what people are putting in them and you don't know what you're getting. And I remember there was a time where someone had gave me a pill and I'm pretty sure somebody else might have taken it and died, but God still wanted me to be here. So when I first took that specific pill, which was supposed to be a per 30, which I used to take so many to start my day, like, I just remember like, this don't feel fake. I don't feel nothing. Then when I couldn't sleep for almost like 3 days, I was like, this ain't no ecstasy because I took X back in the day. Right. You know what I'm saying? We used to be lit. So I was like, bruh, I felt like I was going to die. So I started speaking up and out against opioids because I saw what it made me do. And I saw it make you feel like you're bigger than what you are. Like, I don't know, maybe it was my Napoleon complex. It's hard to explain, but that experience was like, nah, I don't want to feel like this no more. I thought I was going to die. And I was just like, oh my God, what would happen to my children if I left this earth? Like you being so selfish, Mo, like you don't realize that you have a kid that's going to college and you have a kid that's going to kindergarten now. But like before then, it was just like, I love my children, but I didn't love myself enough to like, I literally had to get to myself like, what the fuck is you doing to yourself? The things that I was accepting, the things that I was allowing, and now that I take full accountability for them, it was just like, it was the drugs, man. It was the drugs. So if God gives you a chance to get away from that, to pull away from that, self-medicating, trying to heal yourself through anything that honestly should not be ingested in your body, then you have to be a testimony and a testament for people that's looking up and out for you. That's just like, yo, you're better than this. And the best thing that's happened through this pandemic, because my daughter's an honors psych major in college, looking at the 60% rise in suicide in the Black community, suicide in the adolescent and teen community, looking at the opioid addiction amongst Black women, Black children, the Black community as a whole. I was like, oh my God. Now I see why God brought me out of it, because I got to spearhead this whole campaign to get people off these drugs, because it's all in the mind.
How did you get off of them? Like what? I mean, I understand it was a mindset that brought you out of it, but what did you have to do? Did you do rehab? Did you seek help? Like, how did you get yourself off of it?
It was a collection of things. It was me being in the marriage boot camp house. That was the tip of the iceberg.
Really? Marriage boot camp helped?
Yeah. With Dr. V and Dr. Ish, they knew what was the vibes. They know what it was giving. They knew what I was up to. And they knew why I was there. So even though I called myself trying to save a marriage that was already done with, but the check was lit, let's just be real. I was like, I really wanted help for myself. I wanted to see if somebody else could see what I was feeling. And they knew. And there was a lot of things that didn't make the screens, but it was going on behind the scenes. And Dr. Ish told me, he was like, once you realize who you are, you're going to take over the world. So that's when I knew. I was like, oh, it's up and it's stuck. So literally, after I left that house on August 25th and on August 26th, when my ex like really spit on me and stuff like that, that's when I knew I had to make a 360 change. And so like literally for the past, what is it, 2021? For the past 2 years, I've been going hard for myself because I didn't want to lose myself there. Like in the bullshit that I honestly put myself in. So I knew there was a bigger picture and there was a bigger mission and thing for me. So that's why I did I'm doing the Savage Heart album and Broken Heart. Like a lot of things are coming from me literally starting from ground zero.
You just mentioned Broken Heart. Talk about your new single. Tell us the inspiration behind it.
Everything, child. I mean, just for the past 20 years, me being Lil Mo, like I realized it just felt like I was saving people, but I was losing myself. So I had the Superwoman, the anthems, the Put It On Me's, the Forevers, like singing all the songs that are the biggest songs at weddings, but I can't stay married to save my goddamn life. You feel me? So it was just like, I felt like I was living a lie. So I had to start from scratch. I had to reboot, reset. And I honestly am glad for the pandemic because I've been running for years straight. Like literally running all my life, thinking I'm chasing a dream or a bag, but I was running from myself. I don't know what I was afraid of, but it was like, I didn't like what I was becoming. So Broken Heart came from a broken place, but it's not a sad girl anthem. It's honestly empowering and uplifting to the point. It's just like, when you get to the point, when you get to your lowest point, you ask God, like, well, what did I do? Like, is this my karma? Like, show me where I went wrong. Can I get a peek in the book of what you writing down for me or about me? Because they be saying, you know, in the church, they say, well, God knew what you was going to do before you did it. And I'd be like, well, I wish he would have gave me a peek so I could at least, you know, switched it on up. But at the end of the day, God gives us, we all have that choice. And I made some bad choices. So Broken Heart came from a place where I was tired of making bad choices, bad habits preceding me. Me knowing all the people at the top, but not getting invited to the lit shit, but getting invited to the ratchet shit because of my behavior. Now, I'm a good person, but I made some bad decisions. I wasn't raised that way, but I made those choices. So I made the choice to flip all that. So Broken Heart came from a place of me finding the greatest love of all within myself. And just as much as I thought and saw that I was going through things, is somebody going through something worse than me? I saw where Vanessa Bryant said she hasn't forgiven God for what happened to Kobe. And I was like, whoa, that's deep. But I've been there. Not saying that I've lost a husband and a child that way, but I've lost whole families. I got 3 baby daddies. Let's just be real. But I don't claim them. I just claim my kids. Like, we just related to the same kids. So it's just like, it is what it is. I just realized I was making bad history and patterns and decisions that I don't even want my children to make. So Broken Heart came from that. So honestly, I broke my own heart chasing something that I know I ain't had no business around or allow in my space. So I'm trying to just, change my whole narrative and get that all back because I owe that to myself.
Now, we talked about the fact that your rise in the industry was meteoric, so many hits, so many records you were on. Is there anything that you learned about the industry when you got into it that you weren't prepared for? Is there anything you weren't prepared for? Like what was the thing, the biggest thing that shocked you or that you weren't ready for, just being new on the scene like that?
Shoot,
or
everything.
that you would warn a young artist about?
Everything. Because I thought that all I had to do was sing and then that was it. But I didn't realize the business side. I didn't realize the importance of not burning certain bridges. I didn't realize the importance of sometimes sitting down and taking my ass home. I didn't realize sometimes just like listening and paying attention, because I think I always blame it on me being a Scorpio. It's just like, I think for people, I always feel that I have to be ahead of the game and this and that. I do believe that I've always been ahead of my time. But one thing I didn't take serious was that you have your gift and you have the business. Your gift is going to make room for you, but the business, like, you have your own lane and stick with that. But I was so busy. I don't know. I was just all over the place. And for new artists coming in, I would just always say that stay true to who you are. You don't have to be like everybody else. I can do what they can do. They can't do what I can do. And I realized that. Like, I know I can't dance, but I can sing. I know there's just a lot of things. I know my weaknesses and I know my strengths. And I should have focused more on my strengths instead of showing the world my weaknesses. You feel me? So it's just like, I'm just glad that I'm still around, that I could reel it on in. So to the new artists, I just be like, keep going. I let up. I shouldn't have never took my foot off nobody's neck, period. Like, I fight myself about that so much because it was just like, bitch, you let everybody past you. But not this time. Not no more.
We're excited that you're back. We're excited that you have your new single. You just talked about new artists. We had the Grammys just this week. Are you excited about the future of R&B music, and who are you excited about specifically right now?
Actually, yeah. I love this generation because I love the fact that people's like, oh, we want that 90s R&B back. And I was like, when we was in the 90s and the 2000s, everybody wanted the 60s back. It's not coming back. Let it be. For those who remain, God bless them. I'm glad to be in the number. I'm glad that God has preserved me and my looks. And I got kids in this generation that will tell me, Mom, no, that nobody cares. Nobody. My kids are my biggest critics. So I don't care what the world says. My son will tell me, no, Ma, sit your butt down. You're a mother. And it's like, it is what it is. But the artists that I'm looking forward to and that I love their vibe is so many, from like the Post Malones, the Billie Eilishes, the Coily Rays, the Summer Walkers. I call them slack, but my son be like, it's black, Mom. And I'm like, I love this generation of artists. What's his name? They say time is Young Blue.
Young Blue. See,
Blue.
you almost went back to the BMF days right there. You said Blue Da Vinci. She almost went back to the
I almost got caught slipping.
All right.
I just love the direction that it's going because it's blending the old with the new. The sounds have changed. You don't have to do 100 background vocals and ad-libs all over the place. Like with Broken Heart, with my single, I just sang straight through my pain, one track. My son is so hype. He did the backgrounds.
Word.
Yeah. Like, so he's the future. He's about to make his vibe.
Is that Justin?
Yeah.
That's Justin.
He was, come on, because he's talking about, people know me, Mom. I told you they want to see me. All right, because that's gonna be the biggest beef in history. Because my son was like, but you know what? He gets that from me. It's just like, I told you they want to see me. I tell you who they want to come see. So I'm making room. Like, I'm putting myself back out there again so that he'll have a chance. But I told him it's not going to be easy for you. You're going to have to work 3 times as hard as me, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he just gets it easy because of who his mother is. No, you're going to have it harder because of the shit that I done. So it's going to fire back and fall back on you. So you just got to be ready, because the world is unforgiving. And now we have social media. So you do something crazy or raggedy or wrong, or I do something that's going to fall on you, and you can't fight everybody. You got to learn when to just fall back and just be like, take the bitter with the sweet, you pick your battles wisely. Because I put myself in some battles that I shouldn't even join into, but I'm a fighter and I'm a lover. But now we changing all that.
Let's talk about that real quick. You said that you burned some bridges. If there was one bridge that you burned that you could build back, what would that be? Who would that be with?
It's not even a personal bridge. It's just like when I started doing radio, because I was inside the industry, I realized when I would have to do like celebrity gossip or stuff like that, or just be, give the rundown, be like, nope, I was there, so I know this person was giving, like, I already know this person, so why would they, I would always wonder, like, why is y'all doing dumb shit? Like, I esteem y'all to up here, and you're acting like down there, but I was doing the same thing. So it's just like, there was like artists that, to this day, I'm just like, I don't even know you in real life, so why are you mad at me? Because you did some dumb stuff. Right. But at the end of the day, like, if I would have known then what I know now, not saying there were any people that were off limits, but I wouldn't even give them any kind of like time to even report the crazy stuff that they was doing. Because at the end of the day, I was doing crazy stuff, and people like, well, you don't talk about your stuff, and I was like, yes, I do. But I honestly wasn't doing nothing crazy. It was people around me, but it was a reflection of me. So now it's just me and my kids and my manager that just be out here just running around and making it happen. I learned less is more.
Word up.
Later this year, you're celebrating the 20th anniversary of your debut album.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Now you're dropping a new single this year. So still doing music 20 years later. You don't see that often in this industry. What does that mean to you, knowing that you're celebrating that anniversary, but then also putting out new music?
It means a lot. Because honestly, if it was up to me, I would have quit a long time ago. But it was just something in me that just kept me going. It was just like, honestly, sis, this all you know. Like, I've never had another job in my life besides doing, it's always been entertainment. I've never had a regular job that I could go back to. I never went to law school like I wanted to. So,
girl,
it's like,
I did that. Don't do that. You didn't miss anything.
It's like, this is all you know. This is your love. This is your passion. So don't give up. So with that, it's like, it was a lot of labels who were like, didn't want to do, not saying they didn't want to do business, but I was so used to getting the big bucks. Like Sylvia Rome used to cut checks. Cash Money was cutting checks. So when you go to a label now and you playing music and they don't see the vision, you just like, wait, bitch, I done been in this game for this many years, and they think that you're not the wave no more. Then you be like, you know what? You're right. Now watch this. So then I reinvented myself, and it's just like all of my relationships, I'm carrying them over and adding a 10. So I think I got another 20 years left in me, because like, that's how hard I go. So with the music and my sound, like, I still sound like when I first came out, but it don't sound old. Like some people's voices be old and weird. Like, I'm glad that my voice is still youthful, and I can still, like,
When you say stuff like that, I so want to be like, who are you talking about? Who are you?
No, it's just
I know
like,
you're not going to say, but I want you to.
No, but it's just like, like, there are tones that when music changes, there are certain tones that just won't be conducive to this generation. Mm-hmm. So I realized that there was a time I just thought that my voice was, I didn't want to sound old. Like I would say we used to do literally 30 backgrounds.
That's crazy.
And then a lead track, then an ad lib.
That's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm. So it's just like, you don't have to do that no more. You have to know, like, when I say, and then we didn't have the access. Like today, you could push it, you could do it from your phone and delete it right there. You would have to start from scratch. Oh. So because the industry has changed so much, it's like, I'm glad that finally I get to be all I could damn be.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I do have to ask you about one thing. It's not so positive. A couple of years ago, you got in some hot water over a Breakfast Club interview that you had did. You remember this when you talked about the R. Kelly situation and his accusers? Do you remember this interview?
Yeah, I remember it, but I forgot what I had said, so remind me.
They were talking about.
Let me just let you know that's when sis was living love. So ain't no telling. So remind me.
Okay. So they brought up the R. Kelly situation, and you said I'm very overprotective of my children. So with the R. Kelly situation, like with the parents, I'm like, are you serious? You said you give 88% of the blame to the parents, asking who was around to monitor the R. Kelly situation. And a lot of people took that. And you also said during that interview, you said, honestly, it gets to the point to where you say I ain't see nothing, because when that's your partner, your ride, talking about the R. Kelly situation and how you always had people's backs, but you felt like nobody ever had your back. People got mad when you said that, seeming as if that you were giving R. Kelly an out for some of the things that he was accused of and then later convicted of. Do you see why people were upset about what it was that you said? You do see why people were upset.
Yeah, of course. But coming from my background, because I've been through molestation, it's just like, like I've survived a lot. So because I didn't give that backstory then, when asked and put on the spot right then, it's just like, okay, this is my take on it, because it's just so many ways that this could go, but this is the best way to break it down. I'm a mother of 5. I can't watch everything that they all do, but I can monitor it. So when my daughter leaves out the house, my daughter's 18, she's technically an adult. So when she leaves out the house, all I can do is pray that she takes what I've given her as a mother, that she's learned from me as a parent, and that she doesn't make the same mistakes that I've made. I have a daughter that's 16. She's more, she's a recluse, so she stays to herself. So I've always wondered, is everything okay? Like, I'm real overprotective. So if my daughters are going somewhere or doing some things, I'm going to have that intuition, be like, where they at? I've never in my life dropped my kids off to nobody else's house. It's just some accountability as a parent that I felt that there was a lack thereof. And then different stories that I was getting from people that were on the inside was like, well, parents was just dropping it. And I'm like, what? So I didn't understand that.
Right.
But I just think that it was just like.
Can I ask you something, Mom? Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
And I've never met him a day in my life.
Right. I didn't know that about your history. Is it possible that you reacted and blamed the parents, which R. Kelly is a vile piece of shit, but is it possible that you reacted and blamed the parents because you wish that there might have been somebody there to protect you in the situation that you had gone through?
Looking back, because I never told my parents what was happening. My dad actually found out when we did the Diva Logs on R&B Divas. So I carried that trauma and that PTSD and that anger around, like nobody protected me when this was happening. The only person I felt protecting me then was my cousin, because the same thing happened to my sister. My sister told my cousin went to the person and was like, if you touch anybody in my family again, I'm going to kill you. So it was just like, where were those type of people? Like, no, I always felt like, I know that people are sneaky, but I'm just like, nobody sees what's going on. But I always felt like, oh my God, he's not the only one. It's so much of it running rampant in the industry. Now we have social media where you can pretty much expose people and post everything. But it was just like, there was a part of me that was just like, I'm glad my parents never accepted us. Like, we weren't allowed to even be in grown folks' conversation, let alone be around grown folks. So I honestly felt for the victims of what happened. I'm just like, dang. So it just felt like they were put in harm's way. They're watching like so many things over the years. I watched the Jerry Epstein thing. I'm just like, that it just goes from somebody planting that seed and then it just, hey, you want to go over here and do this, da, 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 da. Like it just so much. And I think it came from a hurt place. That's why I was just like, I'm just real cognizant now on how I deal with those type of subjects because I came out of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm glad you had the chance to explain that because you never know what people go through or what they've been through. Vantage, you have a follow-up? I'm sorry.
No, that was some real shit. No,
yeah.
go ahead.
But I'm woman enough to admit that I was wrong for saying it like that. But I did not. That's what I'm saying. I ain't mean it like that, but it's just like, I admit I was wrong because I wasn't there. And honestly, it wasn't none of my business.
And you understand though how, well, I will say that it's our business to protect Black girls. To protect Black girls. But you understand why giving R. Kelly any oxygen or latitude with anyone is going to upset and enrage a lot of people. To
the end. Now I see.
Right.
But like you said, you're saying you were wrong. You're recognizing that, but then explaining why you gave the answer that you did. Let me ask you this. Let's spin it to a more positive note. What's next for you? What's next?
Yep. Well, besides Broken Heart that's streaming on every platform, it's like the world is my oyster at this point. I want to do everything that, first of all, I'm coming back for my respect. So with that, excuse me.
Okay.
It's like, because I lost a lot of my respect for myself because I was just like doing anything. But we put a cap on that. It's just like, nah, I've turned down this whole pandemic. I've turned down reality TV shows. I was like, nope, I'm putting myself in a different light. So with that, I get to do everything I want to do. So not only am I releasing the Savage Heart album project that I've been working on, and my team, we got some new music coming. I've also tapped in with the other Van Jones and his team for the prison reform because I have family. Yeah. Like I always wanted to be a lawyer. So since I can't get my Esquire, it's just like, I'm still going to fight for those that are innocently sitting behind bars over the weirdest charges or violations. I'm like, this cannot continue.
Great work they're doing over there at Reform.
Very much so.
Shout out
I was
Van
a
Jones.
part of the empathy project that they had going on. So I'm moving forward with that. And it's just like, I know that I'm the voice that can be heard. So I want to be sure that this time I'm saying good things and I'm using my empathy and I'm using my voice for the right thing. Because even if I'm not speaking, if I tweet it or put it out there in the atmosphere, that stuff comes back.
Sure.
And you can get canceled for something you said 20 years ago.
Right.
You feel me? So it's just like, I'm trying to do my part to do the right thing and uplift at this point. Now, don't sleep. Sis still on go, but it's for a good reason this time. For real. Because, once you come back, everybody's like, oh, she on deep. And it's just like, nah, I'm just more passionate and empathetic of like the damage that I've done. So I want to be real sure that my sin don't trickle down to my kids or that they don't have to pay for some of the things that I've done. You feel me?
All right. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm looking forward to the music. Always love your voice.
Thank you.
I also want to see you back. I want to see you and Ja get back on. I want to see you back with Missy. I like that shit. See,
I just spoke to Fab yesterday, so
hell yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. You get back with Fab. All right. Seriously, it was a pleasure to talk to you and really to get an understanding of some of the things that you've overcome. And despite whatever you might hear, man, you're a big part of a lot of our cultural DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And we root for you. Just keep going.
Thank you. Right. No, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Peace. I didn't know half of that shit. Gotta be honest with you.
And I just appreciate just how willing she is to be open about what she's been through. Same way I told you, somebody needs to hear that. Somebody needs to hear what she had to say too. So thank you, Lil Mo, for coming on, talking with us, being so open.
Of course.
And then saying she wants to do more.
To do more. We love that. We love people who love us. So here's the thing. I was intrigued by a story that happened these past couple of days. There's a new excuse for racism that I've never seen before.
It's not funny.
Great. By the way, I'll tell you something. racism is having a hilarious couple of weeks. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it that it's hilarious, or are we just like, you know what? I
No.
just gotta laugh my way through this.
No, these things are legitimately funny. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't care. This stuff is legitimately funny. So what do we have? We had Greg McDermott from Creighton and the Plantation joint.
The Plantations.
And then what was it last week? I can't remember what it was, but really got us going on some hilariously racist stuff. It's going to pop in my head. I can't remember what it was.
I can't either.
But this week, it started disgusting, as racism always does, and it ended up hysterical. So Matt Rowan is a high school basketball announcer. He's calling the game down in Oklahoma. Shout out to my boy Irv Rowland for putting me on this. When one of the girls' teams began to kneel. The girls' team began to kneel, and this guy did not know he was on a hot mic, and he used racial epithets, including the big one, the big kahuna, El N-wordio, at those girls and criticized them for kneeling. Now, this went viral quick. This went viral faster than COVID, right? This went viral quick. Everybody.
As it should.
He has since issued an apology. The thing about the apology is not that he issued an apology. That was definitely coming. The thing about the apology was what he said in the apology. This is the apology. I, Matt Rowan, it is I, Matt Rowan, on Thursday, March 11, 2021, most regrettably made some statements that cannot be taken back. During the Norman High School girls basketball game against Midwest City, I made inappropriate and racist comments believing that the microphone was off. However, let me state immediately that that is no excuse for such comments, and there's no excuse. Such comments should never have been uttered. Well, okay. It reads, he's not the greatest writer. Let me state immediately that there is no excuse. There should be a comma there. Such comments should never have been uttered. I'm a family man. I'm married. I have 2 children. Didn't ask for your genealogy. I married, have 2 children. At one time was a youth pastor. I continue to be a member of a Baptist church. Right. Once again, none of it matters. I've not only embarrassed and disappointed myself, I've embarrassed and disappointed my family and friends. This is where this apology gets good. Not just good, but amazing. I will state that I suffered type 1 diabetes. Serious situation. And during the game, my sugar was spiking. While not excusing my remarks, it is not unusual when my sugar spikes that I become disoriented and often say things that are not appropriate as well as hurtful. I do not believe that I would have made such a horrible statement absent my sugar spiking. Now, God rest my mama's soul. God rest my mama's soul. She had sugar. Her whole life she'd say, I got sugar. I ain't never heard her lash out in any racial epithets over her diabetes. This man blamed his racism on type 1 diabetes. Yo, we in the loopy zone, baby.
I give it to him for the creativity. I give it to him for No, I don't like it, but I'm just like, wow, that's a new one. I mean, my gosh, if that's what racism is, like, if that's what causes racism, then, we could fix it. That's it.
Yeah.
This man is the key.
Yeah.
Listen, when I saw you post this, I wasn't surprised at all by it, right? And Van, isn't that the problem?
What do you mean?
We aren't shocked or surprised by this type of behavior. Like, I saw it and I was like, huh? And another one. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like another day.
Yeah.
Somebody else is calling us the N-words, mad at something we're doing, just exercising our right to stand up what we believe in and stand against something.
Black girls, by the way.
Black, young.
This was a high school game.
Women.
Young women.
So here's the question I have too. I did too note as well that he let us know who his family was, or that he's a family man and threw in church, which is why people question Christianity all the time when you throw something out like that. Problem. He made the entire statement about himself. At any point, did he apologize to those young girls? Did I miss that in the statement?
Let's go look at it again. I can't believe that
Because
Might have
correct
missed
me if I'm
that.
wrong, there was no apology to the young women. There was no apology to the Black community. The whole statement was about him and then him giving an excuse for his behavior.
Yo, this dude is a G. This dude is a fucking G. Hold on for a second. This guy is such a G. I'll tell you why. Not only did he not apologize, he didn't even take it back. So,
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I underestimated this dude.
Yeah.
That's why he threw in all of that stuff about his family. He used his genealogy to throw off the fact
Red
that
herring.
there isn't an apology anywhere in this. All this guy
Thank
did
you.
was describe what happened, describe his home life, and then tell us about his diabetes.
It's the first thing I
never
noticed.
apologized.
Not one apology. Then talks about him
Rachel,
being
you a
disoriented.
genius.
I'm a lawyer.
Like you. I'm a
lawyer.
lawyer. Damn, I hate hearing that. I hate hearing that. I'm a lawyer. I hate hearing that. This is amazing.
And he got you. Didn't
He
even
did.
and not even you. Most people probably were like, "Oh, he put out a statement." Listen to what he said or read his words. He is not sorry for what he did. Matter of fact, he's excusing it. And then here's my question. So when your sugar spikes, you're only disoriented for 30 seconds. Did he call the rest of the game? Did he announce the rest of the game?
Yes,
That's all I need to know.
from what I know.
That's all
From what I
all
know,
I
he
need to
did.
know.
I can't be sure about that.
You
but I think he did.
announced the rest of the game.
I can't be sure about that though.
That
I'm
is
assuming he did.
because old boy who was with him didn't stop him or correct him or say,
Right.
hey, don't say that when he said it. Almost as if like, this is a normal thing. He says this all the time. Oh, we just got caught saying it. This man is a sorry excuse for a human being. I hope he gets fired. Yes, I'm canceling him.
Just like that.
That's
So-
straight up like
what
that.
about his kids?
Because
He's got 2 kids.
I don't
He was
care.
a youth pastor. He's
And
a
let me tell
family
you
man.
something. Go back. You need to go back to being a youth pastor. You need to turn them pages in that
No,
Bible and
the
read some
last thing
scripture.
he needs to be as a
You
youth
need to
pastor. If you
find
don't
your-
like him. See
You need
how
to find
you're-
your way back. You need to
you're
find
not
your way
letting-
back.
You're treating this. You don't want Pastor Carl to be a pastor, but you say this man.
I didn't
saying
say
the
Pastor
N-word.
Carr couldn't be a pastor.
Yes,
I
you
never
did.
said that. I said he shouldn't be leading at that point. Step aside. Step aside. Listen, I would, if he had said it, maybe I wouldn't say firing if he had actually been remorseful for what he did, but he's not. He didn't apologize. He said nothing to these young women who he completely trashed. And then he made a sorry excuse for it. Listen, I hope these young women know, I feel so bad for them that they were subjected to this. I hope that they learn from it and they continue to stand up for what they believe in and don't let people like this discourage you. This is exactly why you're kneeling. This is exactly why, for moments
That's
like
right.
this.
It's very true. Speaking of language, Kirk Franklin.
Now this one,
This is okay.
this one.
This is funny. It's very funny. It's very funny. It's hysterical. As we talked about Kirk Franklin on the podcast before. It's very funny. It's very hysterical. So Kirk Franklin's son, Carry On Franklin. I like that name. I love when people
I do
name
too.
Carry On. Yeah, Carry On. It's like, hey, carry on. Posted a video of Kirk Franklin cursing him out. I'm not even going to attempt to sum up the video. Here it is.
When your bitch ass start disrespecting, you need to get your skinny motherfucking ass back out the goddamn way. Because I dare you. I will punch your neck, nigga. Don't you ever disrespect me.
Okay. So he put that video out. That's Kirk Franklin. That's, I just want to hit not like around. You know what I mean? GP, are you with me? Come on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's Kirk Franklin cursing this boy out. Now I say boy, use that term loosely, because what we didn't know when this came out is that Carry On is 33 years old. Okay. Kirk Franklin talked about this. He apologized.
Mm-hmm.
This sparked a debate online about whether or not it is okay to curse at your children in anger. Okay. First of all, what do you think about this Kirk Franklin situation? And then I want to talk to you about the cursing at the children part.
Okay. Yeah, I want to get to that because I wonder was the debate sparked because it was Kirk Franklin who was cursing or just period grown people? Because that's my thing. Are people making their their opinions based on the fact that it was Kirk Franklin? Because I think that's what it was. He's this, award-winning Christian. Do I call him a singer, rapper, songwriter?
Choir leader.
Yeah. And it's the fact that it's the Christian side of it, which is why it got the attention, not because he was necessarily an adult cursing out his grown child. Do you know what got me? You know what the most disturbing part in this recording to me was? What? It wasn't the cursing. It wasn't the yelling. It wasn't even the threat on his life. It was the laugh.
The laugh, yeah.
The laugh, that was the most cruel part.
Somebody else that was listening laughed.
Yeah, that was the most cruel part on Kirk Franklin's side. The laugh came from his side.
It came from Kirk. I don't know who it was, but it came from Kirk Franklin's side.
So at the moment he calls him, he says, "Let me tell you about your bitch ass." There is a maniacal laugh in the background. To me, that was more cruel than anything. They were almost as if they were enjoying what was happening. And to me, that just took it to another level for me.
Right.
I was like, oh my gosh, did I hear that right? Had to go back and look at it. Listen, my thought on this is, I'm not even gonna look at this from like the fact that he's a Christian in that point of view. It was just like some family business that I didn't need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it was so sad to see that their relationship had come to that point where this father felt the need to talk to his son like that, and the son felt the need to put it out for public consumption. I just thought, my gosh, how broken is this relationship that now you're letting all of us in on it? That to me was so disturbing.
Right. This caused a civil war. I mean, you're right. I mean, it lets you know how bad things are. Number one, the fact that he felt like he had to record them, that kind of lets you know.
Yeah.
So civil war between people that got cursed out by their parents and people who didn't. I didn't know it was this many of y'all who didn't get cursed out by your parents.
I did not get cursed out, but
you never got cursed out. You never got cursed out.
I did not get cursed out. The judge did not.
How did he reprimand you? Did he just shout Bible lyrics at you? And thy shalt not.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No.
I'm like, what did he do? That's not what he did.
I mean, I got spankings probably to I got spankings to an age maybe I'm embarrassed to admit.
I'll be honest with you. That makes a lot of sense because people who parents don't curse, they whoop their kids' ass way worse.
Yeah.
Because they on some medieval shit. Like our parents get mad.
It's not like I was like,
now they put you in a rack. They put you in a rack.
You said medieval. It was just simply a belt. It was simply a belt.
Rachel, when you get home, doff chains will be around you.
Listen, the worst thing was to know it was coming. Yeah. You already know what's happening. Yeah, I got spanked. That's how things were handled.
Yeah, but my mom, the worst cursing I'd ever got. My mom's gonna hate this. So in the 12th grade, I dated a girl named Paulette Gray. And me and Paulette got together. She actually had gone to school with me for a bunch of years, but we got together partly because our mothers were friends. They were realtors, right? Mm-hmm. And so, me and Paulette's relationship got serious as she was my first adult relationship, right? We were kids. We were doing what kids do. And so, but Paulette's mother and my mother had a falling out.
Okay.
Like they stopped being friends, but her and I continued to date. They kind of, her name was Renee. They kind of like went their own separate ways or whatever. Wasn't really acrimonious, but they just weren't. So one day, Paulette's mother calls me over to her house to paint her house, to like paint the kitchen. To help me paint. And so I am in their kitchen with a roller painting the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it was funny because I didn't know how to paint. And then Paulette's stepdad had to come home and fix it, everything like that. So anyway, I come home, I shower, whatever like that. And I get into the kitchen and my mother was like, I know you didn't have your lazy black ass in that bitch house painting her motherfucking kitchen. And look, I'm sitting there like, what am I supposed to do? My girlfriend's mother asked me to help her. I cannot say no. Nigga, you fucking say no everything I ask you to do. And I realized at that moment that wasn't no cuddly ending to this. She was fucking mad. Like there was going to be no way I was going to be able to. It was almost like me being on the Bachelor Nation subreddit. Right. There was no way I was going to be able to like charm my way out of this situation. This woman was pissed. She went so hard on me. I must have been like 17. She went
so you were grown. So she felt like she could talk to you like that.
Yeah, she felt like and she laid down a set of expectations. And Paulette said, or Paulette had asked me, she's like, "Hey, can you come with me to get the oil change on Jeremiah's car?" Jeremiah was her brother. And I'm like, "Fuck no. I'll never come, I'll never assist in any way. Ever. Don't ask me for shit."
Y'all break up?
No, we dated for all into college. I'm like, if the house is on fire, I won't even call 911. I'll pretend like don't ask me for shit. I'm never doing that again. My mom let me have it. So all I'm saying is I've been there. It wasn't that big of a deal to me. People were acting like Kirk Franklin was abusive and all of that stuff. The worst thing about it was when Kirk Franklin apologized, he put his video apology out, he said something that's very telling about their relationship.
What?
He said, "As many of you know, I have an older son." That right there told me that kid's not part of his family.
Yeah, I gathered that as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had heard that. And maybe I heard that just being from Dallas, Kirk Franklin's in Dallas. Like maybe that's just talk around town. But to me, it makes a difference when you're 33.
You're 33,
right?
yeah.
Like, who knows what kind of history they have? I'm not excusing it, but the fact that he was talking to a 33-year-old like that, I almost don't even feel right giving an opinion on it because it's family's business, which means it's not ours. Even if he did let the rest of us in on that conversation.
Kirk Franklin, I tell you what, Kirk Franklin better be able to fight though. Because he was talking some cash money shit.
Wasn't he though?
Yeah, he better be able to fight.
That was like that. That's that Napoleon complex.
Yeah, you better be able to fight, man. Jesus not gonna be there with them paws getting put on you, Kurt. All right, like
he was talking big talk. Like you could tell, this conversation has happened before.
Yeah, like he got the Holy Ghost in his hands. He was talking that cash money shit. All right, are you ready? It is Monday, which means it is time for Van's various. It's time for Van's very serious question of the week. Are you ready for this, Rachel?
I am ready for this one.
Okay. Things are rolling out. Stuff is happening. It looks like there might be light at the end of the tunnel for this entire sad fucking era we've been in. The question is, for you, Rachel Lindsay.
Okay.
When will the pandemic be over for you? The pandemic will be over for you when you can do what, go where, do whatever. What to you will signal that this is finally over?
This is an easy one for me. When the government says we've reached herd immunity. Just like that.
It's not a good answer.
You know what? I've come to we've done this a few times.
Good answer.
No, we've done this a few times, and every single time my answer is never good enough for you, and I'm okay with that. But let me explain why. If I'm going to trust the government with a vaccine, and that I should be wearing a mask, and that I can't go indoors at places, and I'm following all these rules, then I'm going to listen to the government when I feel like the pandemic is over for me, because it's not over. If I can get a vaccine right now, but I still got to wear my mask, I can't go travel without having to quarantine at work. It's not over for me. So when is it going to be over? When they tell me it's over. Fine. You don't like it. It's not sexy. It's not cute. It's the truth.
Look, here's the thing. First of all, the government isn't making the vaccine. Pharmaceutical companies are. So it's not the government.
Okay, but the government bought it and the government is, then why are we?
Okay. So can I?
Is it not regulated by the government?
First of all, can we this was supposed to be like a playful type, hey, when I can go here, when I can do this, I'll finally know that the pandemic is over.
Oh, I'm
And
so
you're
sorry
like-
I didn't play
You're
by the
like,
rules.
when the CDC tells us that we've reached herd immunity.
My
and
bad
that
for taking
the-
my
and
bad
that
for
the
taking the
curve has-
pandemic.
has done-
My
with
bad for taking the
R,
pandemic seriously. I'm so
we're
sorry. I'm so
taking it
sorry.
seriously, but
I'm
like
so
what?
sorry
No,
that you don't like
I'm not
my
accepting
answer.
that answer. What answer? What can you not do now? What can you not do now that doing
Travel.
that will signal travel? But
Travel.
you already traveled though. You went to Dallas and you helped.
Yeah, but I had to quarantine. Like,
You had
I
to
want to be
quarantine.
able to go to Mexico for the weekend and come back to work on Monday and it'd be fine. Right now, I have to sit out at least 3 days.
Right.
I take a test. Like,
So
that
regular
to me,
travel.
I can't
Travel.
move. I can't move around the way that I want to.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's
Is
better
that better?
than
Is that
herd
better for
immunity.
you, Van?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Your answer better be damn good too. While you're over here talking about needs to be playful.
I'll be honest with you. This is an easy one for me.
Okay.
The pandemic will be over for me when I care about my lips being ashy again.
Boo.
That's the true answer. Seriously.
So you've been coming here with ashy lips every podcast, and you
They
don't care?
ashy and they cracked. Look at my mustache right now. That's a Danny Glover. That's a Danny Glover mustache.
It's looking
That's-
a little thicker today than it normally does.
Hell yeah. If you look at my mustache right now, that's Lethal Weapon. That's I'm telling you, that's straight up Lethal Weapon. You think I give a
It does look like a Danny Glover.
that's Lethal Weapon. That's Michelle Obama's prom date mustache. You think I give a fuck? There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. I feel no need in any way to make myself look presentable. The moment that I care about looking presentable again, I'll know that this whole thing is over.
Okay. I can't answer that because I have to go into work and be on camera 5 days out of the week. So, I moisturize my lips.
You still got your lips on ashy. It's an amazing thing. All right, guys. That's it. Look, be nice to your kids, man. You never know when.
What do you think you're going to do with your kids? You think you're
Well,
going to curse them out or no?
See, I think this is a good question. I think that I'll curse, but not them out. I think that I live too much in the head of my 12-year-old self to ever feel like I would make a kid feel like I felt at times. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know though, because then
I feel
there's
like-
like frustration. Yeah.
It won't be a regular practice for me, but I feel like, especially if they're older, there might be one moment where I like really need them to know that I'm serious about what I'm saying. I wouldn't put
Right.
it past me, but I don't plan on it.
Right. Yeah. So you're not gonna put them in a guillotine and like your parents did to you.
Oh no, I didn't say I wasn't gonna spank them.
Mentally. Oh, well, I'm not. I don't think I'm spanking.
Did you not get spankings?
What? Told my
Okay,
ass
because you're
up.
talking like
I
you
got
had to-
spankings.
you had to get the switch.
The switch was really out. My parents went with the new technologies as far as the spankings was concerned. You know, the
Switch was for grandmas. Like when I
Switch
had
was
to go to
for
my
grandma.
grandmother's house, it was go get a switch.
The thing my great grandmother used to make me go get the switch, but the thing I realized is that if I took long enough to go get the switch, she would fall asleep. Like if I took long enough to go get the switch, like she'll fall asleep.
Why is it called the switch?
I don't know. It's a switch off of a
You're
tree.
about to make it. It's a switch.
I
off
have
the
no.
tree.
I have no clue why it's a switch.
I just
really
thought
don't
about it.
know.
We say it all the time. We have no idea where it came from.
Nah, but when we think about this shit is wild. First of all, before we go, what's the worst whipping you ever got?
When I was getting real bold, right? I guess
Okay.
I felt like I was trying to be tough,
All right.
and I reached over and I gave a look back, and
Uh-huh.
I grabbed the belt, like I grabbed it from my dad's hand,
Right.
and he quickly took it out, and like the way it happened, the buckle hit me.
Uh-huh.
So it like was twice as bad. Not only was my spanking longer, but then I got hit with the buckle at the same time. Like out of
Buckle.
pure defiance, because I was like, I'm not gonna cry. Like
Yeah.
I'm too old for this.
Right. Right.
And then I had it.
What were you like 25, 26 at this time? How
No,
old were
probably
you?
like 17 or 18. I'm
Yo,
kidding.
yo.
I'm so kidding.
No, yo,
I'm
no,
so
yo,
kidding.
Rachel, I believe you. I'm sorry. like,
Oh my God! Please don't start that rumor. I never got spankings that
hell
late.
no.
I never got
Judge,
that. I swear
Judge
to God,
Lindsay looks
late.
like a senior year ass whipper to me.
I never got that.
Yo, I'm telling you. The worst, that's so fucking funny. Hey, Rachel, did you just Rachel, come over here and let me whoop your ass before you go to work. Like before you clock in at McDonald's. So, before you clock in and fucking
Tell me about the worst one you got.
Before your shift at 579 or Claire's
579.
Yeah, come over here. Let me whoop your ass real quick. Worst whooping I ever got is I was in the 7th grade and my sister had a friend named Lisa and I wrote a letter to Lisa and the letter said all of this vile shit. And then I mailed the letter. Like
vile,
oh, it was so
like
bad.
Nasty?
It was like, bitch, hoe,
Oh
blah, blah,
God.
blah, blah. You fucking, in my creative way that I could write, I wrote this stuff.
But the fact that you wrote it, you really meant that. That's even more cruel that you wrote it.
Wrote it out.
Mailed it.
And then went and put it in the mailbox and mailed it. And I never forgot, I put the return address as something that I would never repeat. And then when I went down there, the mail lady was sitting out there in the car. She come out there and she goes, this is not a real address. But she was laughing because of what the address was. She's like, this is not a real, it was like 1800 Suck My Dick Avenue or something like that. And it was like, she was laughing. She was laughing. But she sent it. And I sent it not thinking that mail worked. You guys think I'm making this up. You can call I will get my mother on the phone and she will corroborate this.
We don't think you're making it up.
I'm not thinking that this worked. I sent it. I sent the thing to Lisa's house. And one day I am just in my room. It happens. The mail goes there. The letter gets there. I have no clue. This is like a week later.
Did you
or something.
sign it, the letter?
They knew it was me.
Okay.
Yeah. They knew it was me. And one day I'm just laying down and my bedroom door flies open. And it is an enraged Van Terry Lathan Sr. And this nigga lost it. I'm like, number one, Lisa's mother was a lunch lady at our school.
Uh-huh.
So my parents were saying all kinds of wild shit like this woman gonna poison you, you didn't threaten her daughter, and all of this stuff like that. Remember now, I'm 11 or 12 years old at this point, right? It's like I'm just fucking around as a kid. He went ham. I remember he hit me and I was writhing around, so he hit me in the face with the belt, and I had a big ass welt on my face. And I remember later on that night, I was trying to prominently display the welt to make him feel bad about it. I remember he said with a mouthful of food, he bit a hamburger, right? Because after I got a whipping, I always got a treat. So it was like...
Definitely did not.
The best way for me to get the best food in Baton Rouge was to get my ass whooped earlier in the day because my dad he always felt bad. So he'd go there, he'd whoop your ass, and then you'd hear, Van! And then you come in the room, we got some Popeye's chicken. And then me and him would make up. It's like an Ike and Tina relationship, very much in that way. Give you some flowers. So I remember he goes and he gets some hamburgers from Fast Track. And he comes back and I'm eating the hamburger and I'm trying to display my welt. And he said with a mouthful of food, he was like, you know what? Keep on. I'm going to whoop your motherfucking ass again. I'm going to whoop your ass again. Now make me feel bad. You crazy. Sending that shit to that lady's house. You know what? No more food. Get your ass in the room. And he took my burger away. And
Man,
he ate that shit too.
Can I ask what Lisa did?
Nothing. She did nothing.
You were crazy.
This is no reason. Like we were all friends.
Not that you should have a reason to write somebody messages like that, but
no. Hold on for a second, because y'all don't believe me. Hold on.
No, man.
Hold on.
We believe you.
You don't believe me. Hold on for a second. Let me get real quick. I know we're going over time. I'm sorry about this, Jackson. But we're over time. But I want to make sure that we get this on here, why she not gonna remember? Hold on for a second. Hold on. I call my sister. She's gonna answer the phone. She's a Metro PCS user, so the call might not go through. Hold on for a second. Because you guys don't believe this has happened. Come on, pick up. Got it.
Hello?
Ebony,
Yeah,
how are you doing, sweetie?
I'm fine.
Okay, so I'm doing well. Thank you. You're on the Higher Learning Podcast right now with Rachel Lindsay and Van Lathan.
She can't hear me. Hi, Ebony.
Oh, wow. Hey, Rachel.
Okay. So look, I just want you to ask true or false. Answer true or false. True or false. Is it true that in like 1992, I wrote a letter to your friend Lisa that said all kinds of terrible things in it? Then I mailed the letter. The letter got to Lisa's house. She told people. Then mom and daddy came in and whooped my ass.
This feels true.
You don't remember this?
It feels true.
But I don't think it was Lisa. It wasn't Lisa.
It was Lisa. It was definitely Lisa.
Not Lisa.
It was.
It was not Lisa.
It was definitely Lisa.
You definitely got in trouble for this, but it was definitely not Lisa.
Who was it? It
Who
was
was
Lisa
it?
for sure.
It wasn't. It couldn't have been Lisa. Me and Lisa would have talked about that like a million
Ask
times.
Lisa. Call. I'm telling you, it was Lisa. It was Lisa for sure. Because remember, Lisa's mom worked at McKinley Middle.
Nope, that wasn't Lisa because Lisa's mom never worked at McKinley Middle.
Okay.
Who was this?
I don't remember, but I remember you
It was Lisa.
doing a lot of perverted things when you were young.
Okay, bye. Bye. I love you.
Okay. Love Ebony. Now we will question all of your stories. We've been taking them as true.
That actually happened though. Seriously.
No, she said it feels true. That was the
That
best.
that happened for sure. You know what?
She said it.
Fuck
She said it happened. She said it happened. It just wasn't to Lisa.
It was definitely Lisa, and it could have been Regina, but it was definitely Lisa. But look, you guys, we gotta go. Take your thinking caps off, but do not stop learning. You're gonna want to see the next. You're gonna want to listen to the next Higher Learning because.
Oh man, should we tell him now? Should we tell him?
Yeah, tell them now. Tell them now.
We have a very special guest.
On the next Higher Learning.
I feel like Thought Warriors promoted this, right? We mentioned it once on the podcast. You guys went to his YouTube page. You liked it.
Yeah.
You commented. You gave him some views because somebody else didn't promote him the way we did. We're
Right.
talking about none other than John the Scorpio.
John the
y'all.
Scorpio.
John the
yeah.
Scorpio. Oh,
John
so
the Scorpio.
excited. Yep. We're going to talk to him about what he's been doing, what he thought about this season.
Yes, John the Scorpio. We'll have John the Scorpio on the same episode that we finally wrap up The Bachelor. It's over.
Yes, thank God.
John the Scorpio will be on there. Take your thinking caps off. Do not stop learning. I'm Van Lathan.
I'm Rachel Lindsay.
We out.